What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with another lucky dip from Shafic's collection. Big shout out as always. And the next tune he's selected is Sub-Zero Chinese Ninja Warrior from 1994. So, I don't remember the full Mortal Kombat soundtrack from the feature film. I definitely played the game, more on that in a moment. But I'm assuming that's what this is from. Now, the name of the group or the band is the Immortals. Again, I don't recall any information about that. But again, 1994, something called Sub-Zero, and then Chinese Ninja Warrior. I don't remember in the character biography of Sub-Zero him being Chinese, but he's definitely a ninja warrior. So yes, I can only assume this is either officially part of the Mortal Kombat feature film soundtrack, and I'm just not recalling it, or maybe it's in the wave of the popularity of the franchise, which is further to say. I very much remember, I was born in the 80s, so early 90s, I was a preteen, about to be a young teenager, and I had already been playing the Street Fighter II game in the arcades, and also a little bit the first Street Fighter game, but that was not nearly as good as Street Fighter II. Anyway, I remember when the original Mortal Kombat arcade cabinets hit the arcades here in the US, because it was a phenomenon. It was like suddenly people were like, oh, like the graphics look, different and better than, they look like real people rather than just, animated characters. And obviously, as, famously, it was very controversial. It was a much more violent game with, blood spurting and fatalities, people getting impaled on spikes and so on. And so, yeah, it was definitely this phenomenon, and suddenly everyone wanted to play Mortal Kombat. And, I certainly played it a lot back in the day, and not only did it spawn many sequel games, but a major Hollywood feature film, which was pretty good. I mean, looking back on it, I think it did suffer a little bit from what a lot of video game movies suffered from back then, which is to say, like, I think movie studios felt like they had to add a lot that wasn't necessarily in the game. And so, as with the Street Fighter movie, there's a lot in the game, or a lot in the movie that's like, outside of any lore in the game. So I remember enjoying it, and certainly it had a pulse-pounding soundtrack, very, techno and breakbeat, and it definitely was an electronic dance-based soundtrack. I just don't remember the name of this tune specifically, and in fact the only track I remember very clearly is, I think, like the title track. It was, sort of like a trance/techno tune. It featured the Mortal Kombat. So yeah, I don't think that's what this is, but I would not be surprised if it's actually in the soundtrack. But yeah, so I played the games, I saw the movie. It spawned a sequel movie which was nowhere near as good. I know in recent times there's actually been multiple movies, including one that I think came out this year, starring, what's his name? Is it not Carl Urban? Am I remembering that right? Is it Carl Urban? Nevertheless, the point is, I am familiar with the franchise Mortal Kombat, and I can only assume, given the title, Sub-Zero Chinese Ninja Warrior, that's what this is about/from. So, let's give it a listen. This is the Immortals, Sub-Zero Chinese Ninja Warrior from 1994.
Your life is
Sub-Zero wins. Flawless victory. So, yes, that's got to be from the soundtrack. Though, to be fair, I don't recall it in the movie. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen the original movie. And as I said, the only tune I clearly remember, and I think it was in the scene where Scorpion, who is he? It's like in the forest, and he's shooting his like hook, which was made into like kind of like a living thing, which like in the game, it's just sort of like this harpoon on a rope, but in the movie, it was made to be almost like a demon that he was shooting out of his hand or something like that. But yeah, it's a scene in the forest, and they play this pulse pounding trance slash techno tune, which features the title phrase of the film slash game as a vocal. But yes, if this track is used in the film, then I don't remember it. I remember being annoyed though, because those are the two characters I use, Sub-Zero and Scorpion, because I don't know, maybe just because they look the coolest, but I definitely use them the most when I played the game. And I remember thinking it was annoying that Sub-Zero gets defeated like very early in the film, like very shortly after the tournament starts, and I remember feeling a bit robbed. It was like, wait, no, he should be one of the finalists. He should have been around a lot longer. But yes, ultimately, if this is used in the film, I don't recall it. And again, if it's in the soundtrack, I'm assuming it is. Probably not the whole thing, probably like a snippet of the track, but yeah, I don't recall it as such, but I can only assume that's the case. And it's very early 90s. Obviously, there's that breakbeat, and indeed, it kind of has that like very early 90s hardcore, meaning like this kind of breakbeat with like, early 90s piano riffs. That style of music was called hardcore. Now, not to be confused with the hardcore that became known as gabber, which, was not too much down the road. Again, 92, 93, some of the first, like, gabber labels in the Netherlands were already started. And, by 94, 95, it was already, like, massive. But yes, when I say hardcore, I mean a slightly different thing. I will say also that, like, kind of warm riff, the bum bum ba na na na, that reminded me of like a happy hardcore riff, or maybe even hard house, which was sort of like it related to the gabber hardcore. Nevertheless, yeah, that had a slightly different vibe, and as I said, maybe made me think most distinctly of happy hardcore tunes. So yeah, again, it's fast paced, it's electronic, there's some nice pulsing like synth bass in there that you can notice, and definitely some, electric signal type of synth work as well, but maybe more than anything else, it's like a drum and bass tune. It's like that breakbeat drum and bass percussive scheme, and, you can just see people dancing in like, Adidas shirts and so on from the early 90s. It definitely has like an early 90s rave feel to it. So, yeah, very cool, and ultimately a blast from the past at the same time, even if I can't recall it specifically, because as I said, I saw the movie and I was aware of the soundtrack, but I guess I just didn't remember this tune. In any case, shout out to Chafic, let me know what you think, and I will see you next time. Peace.